welcome to the Dojo Talk Podcast. Please remove them shoes before entry.
Master is here, and you still have not taken off your shoes. Yeah.
Living every day to define man's mission. Looking to the sky for divine transmission. Deaf man's vision makes the blind man listen. Eyes on the prize, this is blind ambition. Thank you.
Welcome to another edition of the Dojo Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Serial Sensei. We are on episode number 142. As always, you can give this podcast a listen on SoundCloud, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play. Give us a look on the social medias at the Dojo Talk Podcast Facebook page, as well as the Dojo Talk Podcast Instagram page. Send questions to dojotalkpodcast@yahoo.com. And you can follow me on Twitter, as well as Twitch, at Serial Sensei. And as always, I'm joined with my co-host, Antaku, who has leveled up, gained some additional XP, and hopefully HP, celebrating a new year of life. How you doing, sir?
That's not how aging works. Your HP goes down until it hits 0, and then you die.
Although the XP might go up. You get more experience points. It's just, so the bar's moving the opposite direction. Like one goes up and the other.
What good is experience when your endurance and your friggin' your stamina goes down? Like, I can't use any of my PP. Like,
it just means you have to fight smarter, not harder.
I have to grind. Oh God, yeah. I'm screwed.
Any imparting words of wisdom you want to give the youth now that you have another year of life under your belt?
Growing up is a fucking trap. Don't do it.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's all we got. It's definitely a trap. I can attest to that. I'm 30 years old now. This has all been a trap.
They make you pay for food. Fucking ridiculous.
You gotta pay for food. Insurance is a scam. Car payments are a scam. Credit cards are a scam. It's all a setup. System's not set up for you to make, you guys.
The human body is just irredeemably flawed. like if evolution and biology were like a business, and someone brought like the human body to the table, they would be laughed at and like kicked out the room and fired.
Oh boy, yeah.
What I'm saying is my back hurts.
Oh boy, what episode we picked to come back to?
It's been a very traumatic couple weeks.
Yeah, the same for me, man. This has been a challenging month to say the least. I won't really get into it, but boy, has this month not been so good to me. But I think I'm coming through on the other side. Like, I see the light at the end of the tunnel now. So I'm getting there. I'm getting my mojo back. This weather is hot, like really hot. I don't know where you guys are in the world, but it is burning up over here. And now we got thunderstorms rolling through the night, and wind and all of that. So hopefully, guys, we can make it through this podcast and not get cut off by Mother Nature, because it's not looking too good outside right now.
It's 106 degrees in Phoenix.
Street signs are melting. Yeah, it's Mother Nature's in full effect. So I hope you guys, wherever you're at, stay cool. Hope you got your AC working. Definitely stay hydrated, man. Keep your water on deck. Keep your Gatorade on deck. So it's not a joke out here. It is not a joke. So like I said, hopefully we can get through this episode with no hiccups from Mother Nature. So we'll just get the ball rolling. First, as always, got to give a shout out to the listeners, Tumblr folk, Twitter folk, wherever you are. We appreciate you. As far as top cities for the week, let me pull this up real quick. Number 1, we got Everett, Washington. Number 2, San Antonio, Texas. Number 3, Corpus Christi, Texas. Number 4, Bergen, Norway. And number 5, Drexel Hill, Pennsylvania. So, shouts to you guys. Definitely appreciate the listens. As always, share with your coworkers, friends, family members.
Spam your work email.
Yeah, spam the work email.
Shouts to that the dude from Iowa who just fucking was spamming his coworkers with Tupac lyrics. You're my fucking hero, and I love you.
That's what we need. That is what we need more of.
Right.
He should have gotten promotion. That's a shame. Did they say what like lyrics he posted? I didn't actually look at the article.
Okay, so 66-year-old Jerry Foxhoven, and just so you know, he looks exactly like a man named Jerry Foxhoven would look like. Was asked to resign after repeatedly declaring his unwavering dedication to 90s rapper Tupac and his music during work hours. During his 2-year tenure, the Tupac superfan held Tupac Fridays in his office, handed out Tupac-themed cookies on his 65th birthday, some of which were decorated with the words Thug Life, and regularly traded Tupac lyrics with staffers. The AP got a hold of all of Foxhoven's emails that he had sent containing the words Tupac or Tupac with the actual 2. They reached 350 pages. These are a few examples of the emails courtesy of NPR reporter Tom Mack. Here is an email from 65. You have already received my email reminding you that this Sunday is Father's Day. I am sure you are aware that this Sunday, June 16th, is also Tupac's birthday.
Hey.
He would be 48 today if he were alive. So of course I will be celebrating both Father's Day and Tupac's birthday. I hope you enjoy the day as well, and take the time to enjoy one of his songs. Hard to believe he's been gone for almost 23 years. Here is an inspirational quote from him. Pay no mind to those who talk behind your back. It simply means that you are 2 steps ahead. Oh, by the way, on his birthday, I will have finished my 2nd full year of serving as your director. These 2 years have flown by, and it has been an honor to lead such a dedicated and committed group of people.
Hey, man, shout out to Jerry, man. Shout out to Jerry.
I like the email. They got emails back from like some of his coworkers, and they're like, "Well, it is formerly Tupac, and thanks for sharing." Smiley face, writes Len. See,
they liked it. See,
why can't all political scandals be like this?
Y'all fired that man. He was out here doing the good work, being for the people, carrying on Pac's legacy. See, man. It'd be your own company.
Jerry Foxhoven, 2020. Just the inauguration is just nothing but like all eyes on me.
Hey man, I'm with it. I'm definitely with it. Shout out to Jerry, man. Keep doing what you're doing, Jerry. You'll get another job.
Fight the good fight.
There you go. Somebody has to. And this day and age, somebody's gotta keep fighting the good fight. Keep waving the flag, man. We appreciate you, Jerry. I don't have any intro ramblings. Nothing much going on my end. It's just hot. It's just hot. But
I mean, I was gonna ramble about the greatest movie trailer ever, but I think I'm gonna save that for the end.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I watched it.
I am unironically 100% with it.
I was confused. You know what got me mad about it? Is because I didn't watch, assuming I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about. I've never seen the original. I don't really enjoy those kinds of movies. But me being the dummy that I am, somebody posted on Twitter like, "Oh, you thought the It trailer was scary. Wait till you look at this." I genuinely got excited, like, "Oh, this might be great. What is this?" And then I clicked on it, and I was like, "Oh, this was a joke."
Oh my god, I wanted.
Yeah. We'll save it. Joke flew right over my head. Joke. After 5 seconds of the trail, I was like, "Oh, this ain't a horror movie."
I mean,
it is, but it wasn't. Wasn't intended that way. Oh man, but so as far as today's show, guys, it's gonna be an interesting podcast. So if you listened last week,
that's not the word I'd use.
Interesting in the fact that we're gonna
in the meta sense, in that we have to elevate what we watched.
Right. These are the episodes I'm gonna ask you guys to like really just try to appreciate what we try to bring to you guys every week. Like most cards you watch, you can get something out of. There's something of weight, something of substance, or even if it is a card where like the fights don't necessarily mean much, like you get like a lot of entertainment. You might get some really crazy moments, just something to hold on to. This wasn't one of those cards.
Nope.
It's and we don't say that often. I think we're pretty fair in terms of like criticism.
I say we're pretty lenient.
Yeah.
We are some easily entertained people.
Yeah.
And we're okay with that.
But this ain't it.
there were like 3 different it was like 2 different title fights, and then the Blachowicz Blachowicz Rocco fight were going to be the main event of this card at one point. Instead, we got what we got.
Yeah, and it was outside of a few choice moments, like literally a handful. There is not a lot to go on this card. So I don't know how we're gonna elevate this and make it sound more interesting than it was, but we're gonna get through it. I don't envision this being a very long episode because, to be honest, guys, there is not a lot to talk about, and sometimes it's not a lot to talk about because fights end really fast, and that happened on a few fights on this card. But sometimes there's not a lot to talk about because you just got a lot of fights where just nothing really happened. It's just a lot of just meh. Just a lot of meh. But we'll get there when we get there. We'll start off, as always, we'll run through some news and notes. Definitely got some fight announcements going on. Bellator has like 80 fights by themselves. We'll run through a few headlines. It's not a week in MMA if a fighter doesn't get in trouble or locked up or something just bad happens. So we have those stories, and we'll.
It's almost like when you have a sport that involves causing violent harm to another human being for money, it attracts poor characters.
Connection.
Something to think about. Maybe we should explore that one day.
Yeah, just the bad apples will find their way here. They will find their way here. So we'll talk about that. We'll probably talk about little Pacquiao and Thurman. I don't really have a lot to say about that fight, but we'll probably briefly mention that.
It was the most entertaining fight of the ones I watched this weekend.
Yeah. Geez, it was. And it's crazy because I was not looking forward to that fight at all, to be honest. Did not care for that fight. Yeah. But looking back, yeah, that probably was the best thing that happened this weekend.
I know for a fact that was it the top ranked card on Friday? There was supposedly like a really good fight of the year contender on the undercard that I missed, but it's so fucking hot. Yeah. I can't be bothered to do anything.
Between the heat and just life being life, this has been hard. I'm gonna lie. This has been the first week where I haven't been like catching fights on time. I just haven't been in the mood. But we'll just run this from the top. We'll get this party started, so to speak. There's no party. This card was not a party. But anywho, fight news.
It was an awkward party.
Yeah. Everybody was standing on the wall, and like one guy tried to hit the dance floor, and then like other people came to the dance floor, but nobody really knew how to dance.
It's like nobody there knew anybody.
Yeah, it was yeah. Yeah. We all left the party trying to just like, yeah, why did we there had to have been something else to do tonight. Like why did we come here? But fight news and announcements, running from the top.
I feel it's only proper that we start with the sad one.
You wanna? All right, yeah. We can.
We
Let's get the
lost.
sad news out the way.
We lost one of the greatest of all time, and it's truly unfortunate. Rest in peace to one Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker. Died in a vehicle accident in Virginia Beach, I believe it was, this past week. So, rest in peace. Absolute monster, like legit, like greatest, arguably the greatest defensive fighter of all time. If you want to know where Floyd got it from, he got it from watching Sweet Pea.
Yeah. He was definitely like the Floyd before Floyd. Like if you go back and watch any of Whitaker's highlights, or I mean, a lot of his fights are on YouTube. You can go back and watch. Yeah, man, he was different. That dude was one of those guys that was just kind of operating on another wavelength than the rest of the world.
And it's crazy to think he probably wasn't taking this sport very seriously, or at least as seriously as he could have at the time. Like, if I remember right, like he should have beat Oscar De La Hoya.
Yeah.
Most of his fights came from him just fucking with his opponent too much.
he would let you throw like 4 or 5, and you would miss all of them, and he might hit you with a little shuffle, a little a little something to let you know, like, yeah, you didn't really come close.
And then there was the whole, I don't want to get too negative because obviously we're memorializing this dude, the whole coke problem, which he had, so which really probably cut his career short at the end there. But dude was an absolute monster. Like, talent wise, I'd say he's like the best boxer like the last 20, 30 years. Like, yeah, if you think Vasily Lomachenko is operating in the Matrix, like, there's no analog, there's no metaphor. Like, he was just that much better.
And what's really sad is if you look at Whitaker's record, there are some losses that he has that are more than questionable. I went back and did my homework and watched some of his fights. If you watch his fight with Ramirez, definitely a fight that he won that somehow the judges gave otherwise. I don't know how. You guys can go. That fight is on YouTube if you want to go watch it. His fight with Chavez was somehow ruled a draw, even though he boxed Chavez's face off. And I don't know. I don't know what the judges were watching. But nah, man, Pernell Whitaker, yeah, that dude, man, just crazy defensively what he was just able to do. Like, you just imagine watching him fight. Like, he had to have been one of the most frustrating guys to fight. Like,
just unfucking touched. Dude won titles from 135 all the way up to 154.
And, like, when you watch him fight, it didn't look like he was trying that hard. Like, it looked like all of those, like, he would do things that would, like, that looks crazy. And he made it look like that was just kind of normal for him. Like, this was just another day in the office. I'm going to dodge 6 punches in a row, and then I'm going to hit you with a 3-piece, and you're not going to know what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he just made it look effortless, man. Yeah, one of those guys, man, that was a special talent. And it sucks because, like, he was only, 55? Yeah, like, that's, we get on here, we make fun of how old we are, and we're, but in the grand scheme of things, like, 55, man, you got so much more life to live. It sucks that got cut short. And as far as I know, like, I don't think in terms of the accident, like, I don't think there was any foul play, like no alcohol, no As far as I don't remember reading anything about that.
Yeah, in the same here. Like, I think it was just an accident.
Yeah, just a really just super unfortunate, man. Really unfortunate. But I would advise anybody, if you're a boxing fan, I'm pretty sure you know about him. But if you don't know Pernell Whitaker, if you don't really watch boxing like that, or maybe if you do watch boxing but you're not familiar with some of the older fighters, go back and do your homework on him, man. That guy was he was definitely something special. Really entertaining to watch. Just dude was the whole package, man. He was definitely the whole package. So rest in peace to Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker. All right, now we got the sad news out the way. So
let's get to the sadder news. We have like 6 other really sad stories here.
Let's break them up. Let's do fight announcements, and then we'll come back around to some of these. MMA guys are just out here just bugging. But
signing announcement: Alexander Emelianenko goes in talks with bare knuckle boxing. That's the worst.
See what you guys out there supporting. That's what you give your money to.
I like to point out that there's like, as far as I know, it's unsubstantiated other than the fact that he can't get licensed here. Which might have to do with the fact that he's a fucking psychopath, but it's also rumored that older Emelianenko has like hep, which is why he can't get licensed here. So, in a sport that even if you blow the other guy out, you're still probably going to end up bleeding by the end of the first round or whatever. Like maybe don't sign that guy.
Yeah.
The guy with hep.
Yeah. You can't. And for y'all who don't know, we're talking hepatitis.
You
probably don't want to fight with that. I don't know like who would want to accept that fight because that's just not smart.
Also, I want to brush past the fact that he not too long ago got out of jail on like rape and sexual assault charges, where he what's the word for like when you take somebody's passport? Because I think he took it was his 19-year-old housekeeper, and he like took her. Yeah, older Emelianenko is a monster. Yeah. Not quite that sick, but dude is a fucked up place.
Yeah, he's been out here wilding. He's been bugging out. So let's not bring the hep to bare knuckle. Nobody needs that.
I mean, there's a dude who was rocking some fake Russian mafia tattoos until he went to prison. They had to get him scrubbed because he got checked. Like, the man lives a wild and crazy life.
Yeah, just keep him over there. Just I know bare knuckles wild. They don't need to get that wild. We gotta have limits. We gotta have some kind of standards at some point.
I mean, he might not bring gloves, but he might bring some guns, and some hep. But let's get to these real fight announcements.
Let's get to some real official fight announcements. So running from the top, at UFC Vancouver, we're gonna have Donald Cerrone versus Justin Gaethje. I'll just say real quick off top, I don't think Final Form Dad Cerrone wants this smoke. I don't think this fight ends well for him.
And Gaethje is the guy, the type of guy who is always giving Cerrone problems. And if he just refuses to get into a boxing match with Cerrone, if he refuses to just give Cerrone space, he's gonna fucking knock him out.
Yeah, I don't. I don't. Yeah. Not much else to add. Like, Cerrone's like for all Gaethje, is his kind of wild style. He's still a very highly skilled fighter. It's not like he's just out there just winging stuff. Like, I mean, really good technique. He's really highly skilled. In a straight up just kickboxing match, I don't think Cerrone wants that. And you
Maybe,
can try to wrestle him, but dude's a pretty good wrestler. So
maybe Cerrone's the guy to get him down.
maybe that might be his best chance. I think if Cerrone can try to mix it up, he might have a good chance. Even if he doesn't get him down, just have that threat there, have it be a legitimate threat, give Gaethje something extra to think about. Maybe that'll open up some space, let him get off a crazy head kick or something. But yeah, I don't know, man. Gaethje might kill him. Yeah, that's a tough fight, but it's lightweight. There's violence all around. That's what lightweight is. So I'm looking forward to it regardless. Moving on down the line at UFC Copenhagen, we will have Ian Cutelaba versus Khalil Roundtree. And also on the same card, we'll have Macy Chiasson versus Lena Landsberg. At UFC Shenzhen, we will have the Leech, Jiang Li versus Zaleski Dos Santos. And Kai Car France versus Mark De La Rosa. I guess real quick before we move on. If Dos Santos gets past the Leech, and this is going to be an awesome fight because these are two guys who are just, violence.
I mean, you say that, but like, Zaleski Dos Santos has shown that he is smart enough to just take the guy down and get to his back.
His last fight, he was like, chill.
He was like, I don't want to do all that spinning shit.
Yeah. But if he gets past the Leech, which I love the Leech, man, but I think Zaleski probably takes this. Can we get this guy like a top? I don't know if Lee is ranked, but I'm assuming even if he is, he's probably close to the bottom of the top 15 if he's even ranked. So if Zaleski gets past this, man, we got to get this guy a name, like a name.
Man, this is the issue. Like, who do you give him?
I don't know who's not busy right now.
Because Dana White refusing to give anybody like a clear like answer on who's the title. Who's the number one contender or what's a title elimination fight? Like, Jorge Masvidal thinks he's gonna get a title shot. Colby Covington thinks he's gonna get a title shot. Like, I'm sure Robbie Lawler thinks if he beats Colby Covington, he's in title contention. And you have Leon Edwards, who just freaking is just so anxious to get his fucking win back against Jorge Masvidal.
Give him Chiesa. That's somebody. Of the names available, I wouldn't be mad at that. That's somebody. It's something.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. I'll take a Zaleski versus Chiesa fight.
Watch them do like Zaleski versus Maya.
Right. I don't know. Just give the man some kind of notable fight, assuming he wins that. But definitely looking forward to that one.
You know what? Do Zaleski versus Ben Askren. There we go. Let's see if
I like
Ben Askren learns how to defend the fucking fly.
I like that.
Face.
I like that. Yeah. I like that. There we go. Yeah, put a stamp on that one. Zaleski versus Askren. I'm all for it. Moving on down the line. At UFC, so this card doesn't have a official name. I don't believe it's just listed as a fight night that'll happen in October. But we'll have Cub Swanson versus Kron Gracie.
I think that's the Joanne Jacek Michelle Waterson card. If I'm not mistaken.
I was gonna say, is this you think this is a retirement fight for Cub?
Nah. Cub's gonna keep fighting forever.
All right, well maybe not retirement fight, but like, so how many has he lost in a row?
At least 4?
Out of the UFC if he loses this?
Probably not.
Okay.
I think Dana likes him. Like that. Like, you have to. At this point, you have to be like really bad, or really expensive, or just like really annoying, or really boring to get like cut from the UFC. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, like Cub's gonna be a dude that could stick on the main card and have a fun fight every time out. So like, I figure as long as he's happy or not happy, because he doesn't seem happy not getting like a title shot. But as long as as long as they're going to pay him to fight, I think he's going to stick around.
We'll see. We'll see. That's gonna be a tough matchup. Then moving on to UFC Mexico City, Carla Esparza versus Alexa Grasso, and also Sijara Eubanks versus Betch Correia. And the last fight announcement I have for the UFC for the 80th time, Volkan Oezdemir and Ilir Latifi has been rebooked for a UFC Uruguay, and I just have a feeling that fight's just not gonna happen. Like, it just keeps getting moved and rebooked and moved and rebooked and moved and rebooked, but hopefully that becomes a thing at some point.
Visa issues, bro.
It's something. I'll save the stories for last. I'll come back. I'll circle back around after we do the rest of these. On the last one other UFC note I had, UFC signed Shudo flyweight champion Laura Fritzen. Well, I could not find any footage on.
Yeah, she's fighting was it Carolina or Caroline Rosa?
Yeah, I was trying to find footage of her and I couldn't. Nothing on YouTube. I don't know if I was just searching the wrong places, but we'll see what she looks like. Like I said, we'll circle back to some UFC news after I run through the rest of these. Bellator has a lot going on. Lot going on at Bellator. So this fight isn't official yet, but they are targeting Douglas Lima versus Roy McDonald for the welterweight title is being targeted for an event in October. Definitely looking forward to that. At Bellator Dublin, Michael Venom Page will be fighting Richard Keeley. I saw some people in an uproar about that matchmaking. I'm going to just leave it alone. I'm just not going to.
I mean, I think he's just like a showcase fighter, man. Like, he is there so that he can cave in Cyborg Santos' like skull and then put a Pokemon hat on and then get like 6 million views on YouTube or something. Like, he's not there to be a contender.
Apparently, because this going from Douglas Lima to this kind of wild. But you know what?
On one hand, yeah. On the other hand, he did get the fuck knocked out of him.
But that's, I get it. You want to give him a step down, but Lord.
And also, like, Bellator isn't the UFC. Like,
but no, they had options, man. You can't tell me there was. You can't tell me there wasn't. What's the old boy doing? Where's what's that one guy? I don't remember his name. The guy who beat Eric Silva, the Russian dude. Where's he at? What's he doing?
Korshkov?
No, is it Amosov?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Where is he? I don't think he has a fight lined up. Where's he at? There had to have been another name. But you know what, man? I'm kind of off the whole, not off the MVP. At this point, I'm just like, you know what? Whatever they do with him, whatever. I'm just not even gonna. If he gets a big fight, he gets a big fight. If not, it is what it is. Get your highlight reel. I'm not mad. Whatever. I'm moving on.
You gotta rebuild, bro.
Yeah.
In 11 fights, we're gonna see him fight old man Roy McDonald.
Yeah. At Bellator 229, we will have Andre Koreshkov versus Lorenz Larkin, and also Saad Awad versus Gordy Yamauchi. Both of those should be pretty awesome. And at Bellator 228, we will have it's a rematch, right, between Lyoto Machida and Gegard Mousasi.
What a fight!
Yeah,
that doesn't need to happen.
Well,
at the same time, like, it seems like Gegard Mousasi just not interested in fighting anymore. It's literally just something he does to make money in between building like dorms in the Netherlands.
Yeah, boy, he looked checked out in that Lovato fight. But that'll be a thing. And then real quick, because like I said, Bellator's got a lot going on. Bellator 226 and 228 have both been announced. Both of these cards will serve for the featherweight Grand Prix that they're doing. So I'm going to run through these really quick. Bellator 226 is looking to be headlined by Ryan Bader versus Chet Congo. And then as far as the Grand Prix fights, we'll have Daniel Strauss versus Derek Campos, Pat Curran versus Adam Borix, Emmanuel Sanchez versus Taiwan Claxton, and Sam Cecilia versus Pedro Carvalho. And then on Bellator 228, that'll be headlined with the title fight between Patricio Pitbull versus Juan Archuleta. And then,
that's such a great fight.
Yeah, that's fire. And then the rest of the card, that's the same card as Machida Musashi. And then to fill out the rest of the featherweight fights, Darian Caldwell versus Darian Caldwell versus Henry Corrales, Daniel Weichel versus Saul Rogers, and AJ McKee versus Georgie Karakhanyan. And actually what I really like about what they're doing with this tournament that I read, so after this first round is over, the second round is kind of just random. Like, I guess they're just picking names out of a hat. That's how they're doing the matchups. So it's not like a bracket. So you got a chance to fight anybody after that first round.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, so I kind of like that. And
what I really like about this thing where they do all like the fights on the same night, it just makes for like good cards. Like, this is reminiscent of like old Bellator, like back when like Lyman Good and like Ben Askren were, fighting on MTV, I guess it was. Yeah. What was it? Like, and they had all four of the guys fighting the same night, or all eight of the guys fighting the same night.
And I think it works better now for Bellator because I feel like they, compared to back then, like they're a little deeper in terms of talent. And I also like this tournament because, to be honest, I don't know who's going to win this. Like, I don't really know what's going to happen in this tournament. And I think that's a good thing. Like, 45 is one of their deepest divisions, one of their better divisions.
It is their best division, in my opinion.
And they got talent all over the place in this tournament. So I don't know who's going to win this, and that makes it all the more exciting. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing, like, if Taiwan Claston can climb the ladder, if Pat Curran got one last run in the tank. I'm definitely got an eye on AJ McKee because he's, no matter if he can get past Karakhanyan, he's going to face a lot of solid competition. So yeah, this tournament, and then you got Darian Caldwell at 45. So yeah, man, that tournament's going to be fire. This is going to be a really, really fun tournament to watch. So
yeah, like all these dudes, like they're coming in with some steam. Like Adam Borics obviously just knocked the shit out of Pico. Like Pedro Carvalho just like ruined Derek Capos not too long ago. Like even the dudes who, like Sam Cecilia, like a known guy. Like we know he's not like the best dude in the world, but like he's got recent wins over Galvao and like Campos. Like these are dudes on some runs.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is some really good like compelling stuff. So
yeah, this some of Bellator's best on paper. This is some of their best stuff. Like both of these cards are gonna be like must see. You're definitely not gonna want to miss these.
Yeah, it's not like that Gallagher Eleanor card. I feel bad for ripping on those cards because they're basically just like Bama cards, but still, don't insult my intelligence.
But I'm happy with these two. And the last note I got for Bellator is they signed Miles Jury. Apparently he wasn't too happy with the UFC, so we'll get to see him in Bellator.
I mean, he took like 2 years off. What the fuck do you expect?
I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know the beef they got. But Miles Jury will be in Bellator. And then moving on for fight announcements over in Rizin. At Rizin 18, we will have Kyoji Horiguchi against Kai Asakura. It is a non-title fight. God, I didn't want to mention this. At some Combate Americas card, which I did not write down because I was reluctant to bring this up. But Tito Ortiz versus Alberto
Del Rio. Yes.
Yeah, that's a thing.
That's the magic fight, baby.
Y'all have fun with that.
I mean, Del Rio fought Crow Cop. He has the strength of competition. And he did it in a mask, so it's a handicap.
If Tito wins, he's going to call out John Jones.
If Tito wins, he has to call out Brock Lesnar.
Oh, boy.
Well, wait, who's the big Mexican star in wrestling right now? I guess it'd be, what's his name? Shit, the dude who was just wrestling Rey Mysterio. See, this is what happens when you don't watch WWE anymore. He's dating Charlotte. Andrade. There we go. He can fight Andrade.
Lord, I don't know. I'll let you guys. I'll let y'all sort that one out. I'm just gonna play the sideline on that one.
Hey, you said the same thing about Liddell Ortiz.
Don't remind me that that might have been the angriest time up. Like, that's one of the angriest MMA related moments I think I've ever had in my life. I've never been more disappointed in myself that like I actually. God. I gotta go repent all over again. I forgot I did that. I gotta go do community service for watching that. I gotta go make the world a better place. I really did do that to myself. Jesus Christ.
Man.
But and then the last one fight announcement and then one signing. Badr Hari and Rico Verhoeven, they'll be running it back. That'll be at Glory. I don't know what number, but it's on December 21st. I'm down.
So they're giving Badr Hari like 5 months to get arrested.
Yeah. So we'll see how that turns out. And John Lineker, who we mentioned on the last podcast because he got released. And I told you guys I wasn't too sad because I was positive he would get picked up in a heartbeat. And he got signed to one championship like 2 days later. So, shout out to John Lineker.
Let's see how freaking rigorous that weight cutting rule is. Are they gonna have John Lineker fight at 155?
Well, John Lineker's gonna kill people over there.
Like John Lineker just freaking stomping some poor, like Filipino 19-year-old boy's like head into the ground.
Some kid who's trying to make money for his family, and he's like literally he might kill him.
Yeah,
like it's not gonna be pretty. But glad he got signed, so fisticuffs live on.
Yeah, violence.
Yeah, it's all. But violence never leaves. That a guy like him will always be in an employment line somewhere. So I guess to circle back to the UFC for some news. Quick shout outs. Mentions to Chad Mendes. He officially retired. I wish he could bring Uriah Faber with him, but that's another story. But he officially retired. I don't have his record pulled up in one of my tabs, but I mean, I can just say, man, like Mendes was definitely one of my favorites. Really enjoyed watching him in WEC when they got brought over. When the whole absorption thing happened and all of those guys got brought over to the UFC. He was one of the guys I was definitely most looking forward to. Never, unfortunately, won a title, but was in just a lot of great fights. Knocked a lot of dudes out. His fight, that rematch with Aldo, probably one of the really, that's an underrated fight. That's like an all-time great fight that doesn't get a lot of mention. That's a really awesome fight. Came up on the short end of the stick, but it was an incredible performance. Yeah, man, Mendes just I've never watched a Mendes fight and been disappointed. Just awesome fighter, man. Dude is, one of the best of the lighter weight classes. So, best of luck at him in retirement, and just don't be like Uriah Faber and come back when you're 40. Like, just chill out, man. Like, just chill out.
I don't think he'll have that option, to be honest. Faber can do it because Faber was a big star, and sadly, Mendes never was.
Yeah.
I feel for Mendes. Like, I feel like that whole Team Alpha Male, Dwayne Ludwig falling out situation, like, just it happened at the worst possible time. Where like it finally felt like his whole entire game was coming together. He takes the Conor fight, which he probably shouldn't have done, on really short notice. Same thing with not same as he took on short notice, but he probably should have took more time off because after that fight, because that was within like 8 months of the war with Aldo,
Yeah.
and then he goes out and gets knocked out by Frankie. It's just dude could have had, like, as good as his career has been. He could have done, like, I feel like there's a lot we missed out on, and obviously the drug test that he failed and missed like 2 years of his career with. Yeah, like two and a half. Uh, um, Dude was on, like, one of the best pure athletes MMA's ever had. Like, if there was like an MMA combine, he probably plays like top 10 in every category.
Yeah. Dude was definitely a freak. Like athletically, and just had that unreal kind of power too for a guy his size. Um, yeah, I'm gonna miss watching him fight, man. He was always a guy I was really looking forward to anytime I saw his name pop up. And boy, that Volkanovski fight was awesome. Um, Obviously he didn't win, but like I said, if you watch a Mendes fight, even if he loses, it's going to be an entertaining fight, man. He was always in there to win it, and I always appreciated that. So, shout out to Chad Mendes, man. Best of luck in retirement. And the last bit of news before we move on to some fights, you want to talk about Mr. Abel Trujillo and his whatever he's doing out here. Up to no good. Up to no good.
No good is understatement. So, again, we on a week where I'm upset because we have MMA's resident wife beater getting spots on ESPN, a former UFC wife beater, a guy who was arrested like multiple times before he got signed to the UFC for domestic abuse. Abel Trujillo, he got locked up this past week, or was this? This was like, yeah, last week. DA, ex-UFC fighter Abel Trujillo sent genitalia photos and masturbation videos to 16-year-old girl. Former UFC fighter Abel Trujillo is accused of sending explicit text messages and videos to a female he knew was underage. Trujillo, 35, is alleged to have sent pictures of his genitalia and videos of him masturbating after friending a 16-year-old on Instagram and Snapchat in March 2018. According to an arrest affidavit obtained by MMA Junkie. The alleged victim told police that she asked Trujillo to stop multiple times and blocked him. But 7 months later, after she refreshed her social media accounts, he started sending more nude photos, and she went to the police. The alleged victim told police she believed Trujillo knew her. She was in high school at the time of the exchanges. So, like, don't do that.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's I didn't know that there was a break.
Yeah.
That I didn't know. That so, I mean, this wasn't good on any level, but that makes it worse.
It's almost like the man who repeatedly beat his ex-partner has an obsessive personality when it comes to controlling women.
Yeah. Yeah, when you get a 7-month break, and it's like, had you just chilled out in those 7 months, you might have been okay. This might have just kind of just went away, and you just kind of just couldn't leave it alone.
After obtaining a search warrant, police entered Trujillo's apartment on January 19th. The affidavit states Trujillo admitted to multiple conversations with females under the age of 18. Note, females. Plural. And he knew that the alleged victim was under 18. Trujillo denied Banks was involved and admitted to requesting nudes from the alleged victim, as well as sending her explicit pics. It seized his phone. Dozens of photos of nude young women were discovered in Trujillo's iPhone gallery, according to the affidavit. The age of the women could not be verified, but several photos also appeared to have matched the nudes Trujillo allegedly sent to the victim. Ooh, I didn't realize this. Trujillo was signed as early as 29, like as early as earlier this year.
Yeah, he was over in that other league. He was supposed to fight. Was it Tibau? Yeah, he had a fight book and it got pulled because of this. I think it was called Battle FC. I want to say. I think that was yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was on that card because there are a couple other UFC dudes on that card. Yeah, Abel Trujillo was out here just kind of R. Kelly in it, which is that's never a good thing. I can't remember what the sentence is. I know they said like each charge brings up like a certain amount of money. Can't remember what it is.
Oh yeah. Hold up.
But to be honest, it seems like he won't be away for that long.
Both are class 6 felonies that carry a potential sentence of 12 to 18 months in prison and a fine of $1,000 to $100,000. Trujillo on Wednesday posted $10,000 bail. I'm sorry, bond, and was released from Douglas County Jail, where he had been since June 16th.
Hold on, so is that 12 for each account?
Or
like 12 overall? If 12 for each account, then all right, he actually might be out of here for
2 to 3 years, which doesn't seem like a lot.
Yeah. That's what I was wondering. Like when I read the time and then what he did, I was like, I feel like this doesn't really match up.
It also doesn't state whether he has to register as a sex offender, so I don't know.
Yeah, but either way, Trujillo's he's out here wilding out. So, yeah, bye. I don't really have anything else to say.
I mean,
probably not a guy. And you know what I thought of is that, like, hypothetically speaking, let's say, I don't know, like he does like a year, he's back out and he fights again. The sad part is he'll get signed to an organization and they won't even bring this up in commentary. Like, it won't even be a thing.
I mean, did they bring up for what's his face yesterday at all? Did they even allude to the that's the thing, they alluded to the fact that Juan Adams called out Greg Hardy.
Yeah, they didn't say why.
But they didn't say why.
Yeah, no, didn't say why. Did not say why at all. Yeah, the UFC's pretty
shit.
Yeah, they don't
I also have words for fucking Dominic Cruz, but we'll get to that.
Ooh, they are not a good. You cannot put those two on a card by themselves.
Oh, Anik and Cruz?
Yeah, nah, not a good. Ooh, boy.
Well, I have words for Cruz for the Hooker Vic fight.
I got words for Anik. God, what was it? The Raquel? I think it was the Raquel Pennington fight. Oh boy, yeah, those two are not good together. You have to have either DC or you got to put somebody that Dan Hardy, Felder, somebody has to be there. You cannot put those two on a card together. It is not good. But that's all we got. That's all I have for fight news and announcements. So I guess we can just move on to some fights. So before we get to the UFC, I guess we can briefly talk about this Manny Pacquiao and Keith Thurman fight. I'll let you head this one off.
It was really good. Done. I mean, all right. That's not fair. Pacquiao, the fact that Pacquiao is still out here at 40 years old and he's able to move how he moves and still has the speed and power and and balance, which is always like one of the the more underrated things that leaves you when you get older. Like your back and your knees start to hurt. And it's a lot harder to stick with your punches. But dude was out there flowing. He dropped Thurman in the first round, ran away with like the first half of the fight. Thurman, to his credit, like he looked like shit in the first few rounds, but he really bounced back in like the middle rounds, and there's a strong argument that he won like rounds like 6 through 9. But he's just not the dude who is going to be down and come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he never felt comfortable just sitting down and throwing. Like he would throw first, and that's when he'd have all his success. He'd back Pacquiao up against the ropes, land like a big punch. Like he even like there was even one time in like the sixth or seventh round where he clipped Pacquiao with like a gorgeous feint the jab, step back, let him throw the counter like right hand, and then just pop him with a 1-2. But like the air like Pacquiao lost the Horn fight because Horn refused to give Pacquiao any space and just outpaced him. Thurman did not do that. He was just like it really felt like he didn't have any idea how to win this fight.
It felt like he was fighting to like not get finished, but not really to win.
Yeah, especially at the back end of the fight where like he's down, but he's just not throwing like power shots at all.
Right.
And like his coaches are begging him to put Pacquiao on the ropes, and when he does, he just backs out to the center. And that's the thing, like Pacquiao, when he was against the ropes, he wasn't exactly throwing. He wasn't even moving. He was just shelling up and waiting for like Thurman to stop, and Thurman stopped. Like if that had been Crawford or Spence,
Oof.
yeah, I think they would have put a whooping on Pacquiao in those same situations anyway.
Ugly.
Yeah, like
that would have got ugly.
You know, we can argue about their ability to get Pacquiao to those situations, but you know, Thurman was able to do it, and that's not exactly Thurman's skill set. He fights off the back foot. So someone like Spence or Crawford who can walk people down, like I expect them to be able to exploit those types of things. But it was a fun fight. Shouts to Pacquiao. It was just like, dude is still out here. He is one of the top 147 pounders on the planet. He's still undersized. He's 40 years old, but he's still letting like guys like Keith Thurman up. As for Thurman, I don't know what this signifies. Like, did you watch his fight with Josecito Lopez earlier this year?
Nope, don't think I did.
It was not pretty. He got out to like a quick lead, but by the back half of the fight, he looked like he was dead tired and like his legs were gone and he was getting beat up. I want to say that fight was only like a majority decision. Like, it was not a good look for Thurman. But yeah, like I don't know what this says for his future. I know he wanted like the Porter rematch, but like the Sean Porter that. Let me check something real quick. Sean Porter, because Porter's going to be fighting Spence soon. Yeah, like the Porter who fought Danny Garcia probably beats Keith Thurman, but the Porter who fought Ugas, like that's that's hard. That's hard because I thought Ugas beat Porter, if I remember right. But yeah, I don't know what's up with Porter. I don't like. Maybe this is just him. I don't know. Like being exposed sounds so weird because Porter is a top guy at welterweight, but you know, this is how you lose your O, man. You don't adapt.
Yeah, I don't have. I think you pretty much covered everything. All I can really add is that like. I wasn't really looking forward to this fight. Like when it got announced, I was kind of like, yeah, all right, whatever. That's a thing. But as we stated before we started recording, this probably was the best fight that happened this weekend. And I don't know what that says about this UFC card, but it probably was the best fight. At least of the fights that we watched that happened this weekend. Yeah, all I remember thinking, and I saw this fight kind of in spurts. I missed the first 3 rounds. I came in around like round 4, and It didn't have my full attention, but I caught a decent enough chunk of it where I'm pretty sure I got the gist of what was going on. And that's all I remember thinking is watching Pacquiao. And I was like, man, he's 40? Pretty good. Like, he's still, like you said, obviously not the Pacquiao of old, but...
Yeah, this is the Pacquiao who beat the crap out of Margarito.
Right. But for a 40-year-old, like, that's pretty good.
I don't know any 40-year-olds who move like that, man.
Right. Like,
in any sport.
Still, like, good fluid combinations, good movement. Like, there, you know, like I said, you can obviously tell, like, at 40, still, you know, not the same guy, but even at that pace that he can keep at 40 could still give a lot of guys some problems. Like, he's not an easy, he ain't some old man you about to just walk in and like, oh, you know. And he can still keep, like, a pretty good pace, like, for a 40-year-old. Like, he never really looked, like, super tired or, like, you know. I mean, obviously fatigue, you know, it happens, but there was never a point where I was looking like, oh, he looks a little, you know, this might be the round he goes out. Like, that never happened. Like, he just, dude kept a really consistent pace, just good combinations, just, he looked like he was cruising to a pretty easy victory, which is why I was really surprised that this was somehow a split decision, because to me it looked like he was winning pretty handedly. But yeah, I don't have much of like a technical breakdown because, like I said, I kind of just caught the fight in spurts. But I can just say for Pacquiao, for a 40-year-old, that's a great performance. Like, that's a really good performance considering his age, and fighting a guy who's like undefeated. Like, you gave him his first L, and you're 40. Like, that's kind of wild. But nah, man, awesome performance from Pacquiao. Hey, man, old dudes out here kicking people off the lawn. I ain't mad at it. That was Pacquiao, and then Thurman. Lord, I wish there was another card we could like.
Real quick, we could like I saw bits and pieces of Dylan White versus Oscar Rivas, and it was an okay heavyweight fight. Oscar Rivas looked like he was if this was MMA, he looked like a middleweight fighting Dylan White, who had to be like, what, I don't even know what the hell he weighed, but he looked like he was twice his size. It was White's fight. It was competitive, but it was White's fight most of the way through. Rivas knocked White down in like the 9th or 10th round, but dude just got back up and got back to business. Rivas was just too tired from trying to compete with this guy who had to have like 30 pounds on him. I might be blowing this out of proportion, but they did not look like they were in the same weight class. But yeah, Dylan White still out here, still doing things. If the heavyweight scene wasn't such a joke, he'd probably have another title shot by now. Oh, shouts to David Price, Mr. I get knocked out every other fight, who came back and knocked out David Allen in like the 11th round of their fight on that undercard. So they got that going for them.
There you go.
Yeah, and that wasn't so much of a break as it was.
we tried. That's fine.
I tried to push it away. I'm sorry.
I applaud the effort. We we tried. All right, y'all. We're gonna move on. I'm not calling this the main event of the evening. This was a thing that happened. UFC. What city were we in? UFC San Antonio. Dos Anjos versus Edwards.
You know what? The city that hosts the Spurs, they deserve this.
Hey, come on, man.
Hey, you got dry, fundamental MMA.
This was not fundamental. All right, some of it was.
Edwards RDA was fundamental.
Oh yeah, that was. I'll give you that. That was.
This is the Tim Duncan of fights.
No, I'm not gonna go that far. Because Tim Duncan, not the most exciting guy to watch, but every now and then he'll hit like a bank shot. You're like, oh, that was pretty nice. this card was, fundamentals, but then Tim Duncan might be fundamental, but at least like he's doing something. Ronaldo and Hernandez, as well as a bunch of other fighters on this card, there was a lot of nothing. Just a lot of.
Yeah, before we move on, I'm just gonna say I stole that observation from Jordan Brain on Twitter. So there, because I want to be accused of stealing shit. I'm gonna accuse myself of stealing shit.
Well, I'm always having to defend Tim Duncan. I was in a South to Technical Foul podcast. It was like 2 weeks ago, in one of their threads on their Facebook page, and somebody was like, I don't even know how Tim Duncan's name got brought up. They was like, who had a better career, Tim Duncan or Kobe? And they were like, well, look at Tim Duncan's highlight reel. It sucks. And I was like, hey, man.
It's not about the highlight.
Right. It's not about the highlight reel. If we look at numbers and we look at accolades, he's right up there with Kobe. Highlight reel, you know what? We'll move on. We'll move on. But anywho, man, UFC San Antonio, Edwards versus Dos Anjos. I'll be honest with you guys. Like overall, man, this card was pretty meh. So I don't envision us talking about this card for a long time. If I'm being completely honest, I know we try to come in and give some good technical breakdowns and let you know all the nooks and crannies and nuts and bolts of everything that happened. And there are just there are some fights we can do that on, and most of those fights ended really quick. And as for the rest of these, it was just kind of like, all right, that was something, that was a thing. Whatever, we'll get through this. We'll get through this. Starting from the top, Leon Edwards versus Rafael Dos Anjos for the main event. This was a fight that I was definitely looking forward to. I was interested to see how this would play out. Leon Edwards been on a really good streak as of late. So just wanted to see how this fight would play out against Dos Anjos, who just seems to always be in these grueling, I feel bad for the dude, man. He is always in these grueling, just frustrating fights, and this was no different. But this is the one fight where, like you said earlier, the Tim Duncan comparison, I think if there was one fight that comparison definitely worked for, it was this. This was a super solid, like really great fundamental showing from Leon Edwards. Not many moments in the fight that were like super crazy or like made you jump out of your seat. But like when I rewatched this fight, I think I was able to appreciate it more. Leon I think did a lot of just little things right that helped to get him this win. For one, just I love any time you can, and it hurts me to say this because I love Dos Anjos, but I appreciate fighters who can take advantage of opportunities to punish their opponent, kind of like every chance they get. And I'm referring to those elbows that he repeatedly hit Dos Anjos with anytime they would clinch and he would break off. Like anytime he was in proximity to get off that left elbow, he threw it. And he landed it more times than not. And Dos Anjos' eyes evidence of how many times and how effective he was able to be with that elbow. I will say one thing Edwards did that I kind of hope he doesn't do again, but he might be able to get away with because I don't know how many welterweights are out here like, leg kicking like crazy. But he didn't check a lot of these leg kicks. He kind of just had this approach to where like I'm either going to like backstep and dodge it or I'm just going to kind of eat it and counter it. And I think he kind of paid for that because by the second round, he got dropped with a leg kick that made him like literally just fall to the ground. But like other times, he would just kind of eat it and he might just come back with a 1-2, which he caught Dos Anjos with a good number of times. But that was just a thing that I noticed that, maybe just check a few of those. Because he definitely paid for them. I imagine his leg probably didn't feel too good this morning. But other than that, man, he looked really good out there. Like, anytime Dos Anjos, you thought he was about to he's about to really put it together. Here it goes. Edwards clinches. Here comes an elbow. Here comes 3 strikes. I thought he had a really good hold of like the distance and just kind of where he was at in the fight, how calm he was able to be. He never looked rattled at anything Dos Anjos did. He had this really just kind of stoic composure. Like he was just kind of in there, he was like really like locked in. And anytime Dos Anjos, it looked like he was about to get something crazy off, like Edwards was just kind of able to shut it down. Edwards is one of those guys that might not, it might always look super exciting. He's not like super great at any one thing, but he's just really solid everywhere. And it sucks for Dos Anjos because I felt like he was really fighting his heart out. Like he was really trying. And it just seemed like Edwards kind of just had an answer for almost everything. Like they clinch, he's throwing elbows. We stand in the pocket and throw hands. Edwards is pretty solid defensively and had good manage of distance to where he didn't eat. I mean, he got hit, but he didn't eat anything too crazy. Dos Anjos tries to get creative. I'm gonna throw a flying knee. Leon Edwards like, oh, I'm just gonna catch you and slam you, which he did twice. And it was just like he had an answer. Like Dos Anjos just couldn't. Edwards had an answer for everything, and Dos Anjos just. It was like there was no path to victory. And by the fifth round, it's like, all right, you just kind of gotta go for broke. But Edwards didn't let him get anything too crazy off. Like he wasn't even able to set up like a knockout shot. I mean, he tried the knee, but he got slammed for it. And like I said, anytime they were kind of in that pocket range, like Edwards did really good at countering him and just kind of getting in and out, just being real efficient, being really effective. And he just kept that for the course of 5 rounds. And it was just another one of those fights for Dos Anjos that you just look at and it's like, man, I know that fight just like hurt. Not even just physically, but like it just looked like a frustrating fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, Edwards looked really good, man. That was a really solid, like I said, super fundamental performance. Did everything but get a finish, but he looked pretty solid, really solid. I was impressed.
I'm having like the same every Leon Edwards performance since he's been on this run it's just kind of felt like okay, you found an avenue that works for you and it's getting you success, but at the same time I can see the ceiling, and the ceiling's name is Kamaru Usman or Kobe Covington or hell, maybe even Ben Askren. Because like those guys are pathologically aggressive. Not even when it comes to takedown, but just taking away space, and that's always been the thing that causes Leon Edwards trouble. It's the thing that got him knocked down against Brian Barberena. It's the thing that cost him the fight, the Claudio Silva fight in his debut. Like, if you could take away his space, the fight is, for all intents and purposes, yours. And it has become harder and harder to do as Edwards has rounded out his game. He knows what to do. If somebody like RDA a couple times, he got on the inside. Edwards immediately went for the body clinch and the takedown, and he got it a whole bunch. But like, does that work against Usman? Like, I don't see that happening. So like, I feel like I'd be more ecstatic if he wasn't fighting a division where like there wasn't this like crazy athletic big strong wrestler dude at the top of it. Like if he was just fighting at like 185 or something, like I'd be like, oh, Leon Edwards is like a legit threat. But maybe just looking into the future too much and just not appreciating that Edwards has really just rounded out his game as well as he has. Far cry from the dude who they build as like this kickboxing savant who was going to knock everybody out in 8 seconds like they were Seth Basinski or something. As for RDA, it sucks. Is like Edwards is a wrestler. I feel like I feel okay saying that. Like I know a good amount of this fights took place on the feet or in the clinch, but like Edwards' bread and butter is getting you to commit so he can take you down. He did that, and RDA, God bless his soul, he is trying to figure this style matchup out, but it is just not working. It's like this fourth wrestler in a row. Just like, can we put him in there with Santiago Ponzinibbio, please?
Right. Get him man get his man a break.
Let the man kickbox, damn it.
Yeah. Like there was a point, I can't remember if it was the second or third, where he got a deep shot against the cage. And I was like, it don't get no better than that. And I still don't think he got a takedown. Like, like the man was really pouring his heart out there, and it just did not. It didn't equal to anything.
Right. So, it sucks, but what you gonna do? You feel for RDA, man. Like, what more can you ask for? Like, he changed camps to try and get this style matchup thing down. It's just not working. Like, he's and I appreciate the fact that he's fighting at 170, but like, this is a dude who, if there was a 165 division, biggest benefactor right there, besides maybe like Kevin Lee. Yeah, no, good performance from Edwards. Probably a top 5 fighter now. I don't know. Maybe he does end up getting that Masvidal fight, but I can't imagine the UFC looked at that performance and was just like, dude, we gotta set this fight up. It's the one everybody wants. You know what I mean?
I hope they do it, but
it's the right thing to do. But
yeah.
If they really already promised him a title fight, and I don't believe they do, because I think Masvidal's a bit of a liar, or an exaggerator. Like, if that's not a fight that's in the cards, like, who knows?
Not even that. I would say even if they did promise him, like, it's the UFC, you can't take until a contract is signed. There are no promises.
I mean, even then they might switch the venue on you. So who knows?
Yeah. So yeah, there are no promises to be kept in the UFC. I hope they do the Masvidal fight, though. I will say, Edwards seems like the kind of guy who will get a finish if it comes to him, but won't like push for it. And I think against Masvidal that will be costly, because Masvidal's gonna go for it. Like we've seen how he gets down.
Right.
If he can get it, he's gonna get it. He's gonna take it. So if he does fight Masvidal, I think Edwards has the tools to win, but I'm picking Masvidal because he just kind of has like that killer instinct about him, and he's also kind of like Edwards. Like we all, look at the hands obviously because last couple knockouts he's been sending people to the afterlife, but he's really solid. Like he's a very well-rounded fighter. Maybe not a better wrestler than Edwards, but there are many things I think Edwards can do that Masvidal can't do, or at least like keep up with Edwards with.
Right.
So, yeah, if they do fight him, I'm probably leaning towards Masvidal because I just think he has that. He can finish that as to where like Edwards. I don't know. I think he'll let Masvidal just stick around in the fight too long, and he's get clipped or put away. Something bad might happen. Put it that way. But either way, though, great performance from Edwards, man. That was a really just solid, fundamental 5-round performance. So we'll see what happens next with him. Moving on to the co-main event, which lasted all of 12 seconds. Walt Harris versus Alexei Oleinik. I knew that Oleinik was in trouble during that very first brief exchange when I saw how slow he was moving.
Hey, have you? Alexei Oleinik is 60 years old. Like, what do you expect?
But like he was throwing punches like he wasn't aware that he was in danger. like, he was throwing punches like he was hitting a heavy bag, and the bag don't hit back. But it's like, no, that's a real person you're hitting. He's gonna return fire, and that definitely happened. Like I said, all of 12 seconds, Walt Harris fired back, threw a flying knee that kind of like hit Oleinik on the body, but like followed it with a left hand that just sent poor Oleinik down, caught him on like the ear. I guess an equilibrium probably just went out, and then he ate some ground and pound, and that was it. And it was kind of scary because Oleinik didn't get up for a little bit. And Lord, when you just see how hard Harris just hit him, it's like, ooh, it was one of those knockouts that was just kind of like, ooh, that looked kind of bad. Like,
Remember when Walt Harris was like feather fisted for a little bit? Now he's just fucking blasting through dudes.
Right. Like, he looks good, man. Like, he looks good. He's athletic. He can hit hard. He's got some speed on him.
See, I don't even know if he's gotten better. That's the thing.
I think he has. I think he's gotten better. I think he's gotten better. I'm not gonna jump out the window and be like, oh, he's gonna win a title. All that remains to be seen. But I think he's gotten better.
Huh.
And I mean, at heavyweight, half the battle is just being athletic and powerful, and he's pretty much got that. It looks like under control. So, just have some decent fight IQ, and you might make it pretty far. We'll see. But I mean, go based off of his last few fights, it looks like I'm gonna err on the side of being optimistic. This is what, 4 in a row. Okay, no, the Arlovsky fight was a no contest. But even with that, so he's won 3 out of his last 4, and they've all been stoppages. So I don't know. He might be turning the corner. I'll be interested. I think we'll know more. Depending on who they match him up with next. Maybe give him somebody a little younger, a little more his speed. But no, I like what I saw from Walt Harris.
Yeah, that God bless him, because he provided one of the 2 brief moments of joy that was produced from this card for me.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah, like there's not a whole bunch to say. It's a 11-second, 12-second fight. Dude has hops. I'd be forgetting he was a basketball player, right?
Yep.
Dude, one basketball player, so dude can jump. He can dunk a basketball.
You can dunk a basketball. You can throw a knee.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're on a dodgeball philosophy. Yeah, no props. I hope he gets a good opponent next. Not that Oleinik isn't for heavyweight, but I hope it's a high profile fight. I don't know who's available right now. Who they would feel comfortable matching him up with. Let's see. I'm looking at the rankings. Like, do you do like a Tai Tuivasa or Bogoieva fight?
I like the Tuivasa fight. I like that one.
But Tui's coming off of 2 losses, so.
Maybe Ivanov. Either one of those would be good. Ivanov wouldn't be bad either. Ivanov is just a crazy dude, just like mad tough for no reason. So that could be an interesting fight.
Right.
So, but we'll see though. I think Walt Harris has a good future ahead of him. If he can, like I said, he's got the athleticism, he's got the power. Just have a decent fight IQ. You might be all right. Might be able to stick around for a while. And compared to the other heavyweights, he's only like 20. He got some time to figure this out. He'll just out-age everybody.
He is 36.
Yeah, but 36 is like 28. Everybody else like 40.
I mean, they still compete with like Curtis Blades and like Francis Ngannou.
All right, that is true. Like those guys, yeah, those guys will probably give him some issues. But I think he can stay afloat in kind of like that mid tier, and maybe depending on matchups, possibly crack into that top tier, and then he'll just kind of have to hope for the best from there. But we'll see though. We'll see. Moving on to another heavyweight fight that lasted all of 45 seconds.
No comment.
Greg Hardy versus Juan Adams. Not a whole lot to really get into. Like fight started, I think they both like jabbed each other.
It was some sloppy ass shit.
Yeah. Yeah, not.
And I don't mean shit as in like stuff. I mean shit as in shit.
Yeah. Not the most aesthetically pleasing fight. After like a few exchanges, I don't know what. Like Juan Adams going for the takedown. I was like, all right, I get it. Take him down, wear him out. Good game plan. I'm all for it. Boy, was that single leg. Like, did you do that on purpose? Like normally when you go for a single leg, I'm either gonna lift you up and push you back towards the cage, or I'm gonna like lift your leg up, maybe try to trip you down. It seemed like he lifted his leg up, and I don't know what he was trying to accomplish. Because, like, I don't know. That sequence was just weird. Like, he lifted his leg up, and then he ended up in the bad spot. It's like, dude, you're the one who initiated this takedown. So I think he thought he was going to, like, just kind of manhandle Greg Hardy, who...
Yeah, you have to think about it like this. Juan Adams probably throws around whoever the fuck he's training with in the gym and just like gets away with just muscling dudes.
Yeah, but Greg Hardy ain't that guy. Like, say what you want about him. If you're an NFL athlete, former NFL athlete, you're like creme de la creme of like. There's not a lot of dudes on earth who have that kind of athleticism. Not a guy that you're gonna just, even with like his limited skill set, just in terms of physicality, that's not a guy you're just gonna really muscle around. Especially with this, it seemed really lazy the way he did it. And like I said, you're probably right. He probably just thought he was just going to kind of throw him around, and didn't happen. He ended up on the bad side of a takedown that he initiated. Got hit with ground and pound to the side of the head, maybe the back of the head. I don't know. At that point, I kind of didn't care. And he didn't move at all while he was eating these shots. He didn't try to advance position. He just kind of sat there and just took it. And rough stopped the fight. And that was it. Juan Adams storms out the cage. Greg Hardy gives a very awkward fight interview. He yelled "woo" too many times. It was kind of weird. Yeah, I don't got nothing else for you. I don't know.
I hope Greg Hardy gets stretchered.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I think this only worked because he was fighting Juan Adams.
I mean, it only worked because heavyweight's a shit division.
Yeah, that too. That too. Not the
like Juan Adams is not like I would fuck with the guy too much after like that loss, but like Juan Adams isn't good.
We'll see. I'm interested to see how they do this matchmaking with Greg Hardy, because against any, I don't even say top 15. There are probably some dudes outside of the top 15 who that fight definitely goes completely different. Like
a fight between Hardy and I don't know, like a Chase Sherman type.
Right. It's just a tough dude who can just kickbox.
Exactly. It's a coin flip, basically. I hope he gets stretchered. That's all I got. Or just choked unconscious. Whatever happens first. Fuck him.
Skim Derek Lewis. Try that takedown. He just gets back up. Defense 100.
As for Juan, I hope dude gets a real gym and like a real coach, because Like I don't think he's training. I think he's just training with like a strength and condition coach. I don't even think he has like a real martial arts group behind him. I could be wrong about that, but from the sounds of it, they just seem like those performance centers where like athletes go to just like get like general explosiveness and stuff like that.
Right.
Like I could be wrong. Because I looked up Paradigm Training and there's two, and one is like what I just described. And the other is an actual like martial arts and fitness gym, but they also the gym also doesn't seem to have like a fight team. Like what's up with these heavyweights just training at these like random small ass gyms? Or like they're the only heavyweight in the gym. Or they're training at like a UFC gym like freaking Curtis Blades.
I'll say could be I don't know, could be a money thing.
I mean, but like heavyweight, it's heavyweight MMA. Like for whatever, for all the wrong reasons, they get paid the most amount of money, and like they're able to go anywhere and get a fight.
I don't know. Well, we'll see. But that fight, was what it was. Like I said, not a lot to analyze. 45 seconds. So that was that. Nothing else to see here. Moving on to lightweight. Boy, oh boy, a bright moment. Just a shining star. This probably was the moment of the night for me.
It's as much as I hate James Vick, I love him because like he's like that shit heel in like wrestling, where like he's always gonna get his comeuppance. It's gonna happen. It's always gonna be great because the man does not go down without some flair.
Yeah, yeah. He's one of those guys that when he gets finished, it's a sight to see. And there's not a quote unquote normal way to get knocked out, but he doesn't get knocked out like a normal person. He just, when you're that tall, it's hard to not look kind of wild when somebody sleeps you. But Dan Hooker versus James Vick, I just got to say, on the way this card played out, because it was just not a great card, I was looking at this fight like this. If nothing else good happens on this card, this will be the one fight that will be entertaining. Like it has to work, because before this, outside of the Mario Batista and the Jinsu Sun fight, not a whole lot to write home about this card. Well, shout out to Andre Arlovski. We'll get to him in a little bit. But overall, there was not a lot to really be excited about. So this is the one fight I was like, all right, something great is going to happen here. This is going to be the one. And boy, oh boy, we got it. We got it. Something great happened. Fight starts. First thing I'm looking at is like, boy, why are these guys so tall? Why are these guys so big? Why does James Vick has like an 80-inch reach? So
James Vick does have an 80-inch reach.
He should. It was just crazy watching this fight. It's like these two dudes are just huge. Like, Jesus Christ, y'all are just huge for no reason. So it was gonna be interesting to see like how the whole like range and distance game will play out, because I'm pretty sure neither of these guys have fought somebody who was as big as they are. So it was gonna be interesting to see how that would play a factor. And I feel like Vic is. I have to go back and look at some of his older fights. In this fight, I seem like he's a guy who, I don't say mismanages his range, but like,
if you blitz him, he is uncomfortable and his chin goes straight up in the air. He's there to get knocked out.
Yeah, he like. You look at the frame and the tools, because like dude's a pretty solid fighter, but it's like some of the situations he gets caught, and it's like, man, like is something just not something off a little bit? Like I don't know, because like when he would decide to actually blitz and move forward, like dude is long when he decides to throw a jab or like cross. like his arm just seems like it extends all the way across the octagon. And he had threw like a 3-piece towards Hooker, and he missed the first two, but boy, that last one caught Hooker on the chin. But that was like one of very few like strikes that he like landed that seemed pretty effective. Hooker was able to get off a lot of leg kicks, pretty repeatedly at will, and it just seemed like the longer the fight went on, kind of like you said, like Vic just if Vic's not controlling the fight, he just looks kind of just uncomfortable out there. Like if he's not the one leading the dance, or if he doesn't have like the advantage, he just doesn't look in sync. And
if you can't give him room to operate, because that's when he's dangerous. Because then you have to repeatedly cross that threshold of, oh, I'm in distance, but oh, I'm not in distance anymore, but Vic can still hit me because he's 20,000 miles long.
Right, because we saw in the fight, what was it? The Duffy fight.
The Duffy fight, yeah.
Like, when you let him get in space and let his hands go, oh yeah, he can connect. Like dude can throw. But like Hooker with the leg kicks, and I think Hooker also just kind of being long and rangy like him, on top of Hooker seemed like the one who was really like anxious to push this fight. Boy, Vic was like just super uncomfortable. Like, and the Hooker would flurry forward, and like you said, if you push forward towards Vic, he just kind of not turtle shells, but he shies away, and like you said, he leaves his chin there to be hit. And
his stance just completely falls apart.
Yeah.
It just makes and that's where the spectacular part comes in. Like, because like without your stance, like your body just kind of goes into free fall.
Yeah, and that, every time he gets knocked out, yeah, it's Jolly Giant just goes tumbling. And boy, that finish from Hooker was beautiful. Boy,
he landed that same left hook like 3 different times in the 2 minutes and 33 seconds prior to the knockout. Like it was inevitable.
But like that last one, like he ducked under and like kind of faked a right and came over with the left. And boy, James Vick had no idea what happened. And by the time he knew what happened, he fell 8 stories and it just crashed. And then proceeded to eat like 3 ground and pound shots. And
night.
Yeah. Lights got turned out, and that was pretty much all she wrote.
No sympathy for the Lloyd Irvin fighter. None at all, because fuck him. And that's where the joy stems from, by the way. For anybody who's listening for the first time, fuck Lloyd Irvin. So, Dominic Cruz says, I don't know if you know about the relationship between Alliance MMA and Lloyd Irvin from back in the day. Cruz and the team, Irvin was actually a member of Cruz's corner for like a while before all the stuff came out about him being a rapist. I'm sorry, admitted rapist. So all that stuff comes out. Alliance instantly distances themselves from Lloyd Irvin, breaks any type of promotional and structural deals they have with like Team Lloyd Irvin, which is, if anybody knows about Team Lloyd Irvin, they're like the MLM version of like BJJ. Like they are selling Avon basically. It's really creepy. Where was I going with this? Oh, so tonight, last night, Dominic fucking Cruz gets on the microphone and just big ups Lloyd Irvin, the man his team specifically broke apart with so that they wouldn't associate themselves with the rapist. So, shit, look, Cruz. Bad move.
Well, And that boy got knocked out. So
Yeah, there was another thing I wanted to talk about. And okay. So on the topic of James Vick getting knocked out, apparently at the arena last night, they played a commercial for was it the Hotel 6, Motel 6? We'll leave the light on for you. And the commercial featured Justin Gaethje knocking the shit out of James Vick, and then Motel 6 being like, "We have all your sleeping needs right here." And if anybody out there has a copy of that commercial, I need it in my life.
Jeez.
I don't know if this is somebody like just taking the piss on Reddit, but like if this is real, I need it. I need to see it with my own eyes.
Jesus Christ. Boy.
Yeah, that's all I have to say about this.
I'll just end saying I'm happy for Hooker. Good to see him back in the win column. Boy, his last fight was brutal.
Yeah.
Boy, that was
that was up there for one of the more brutal fights I've seen in MMA anyway.
Yeah, that was a hard fight to watch. Like it was one of those fights that started off fun, and after a while, it's like, all right, I'm actually kind of concerned for this guy. Like it's not looking too good out here. But why is Shaq in an EDM pit? Seen this?
Yeah.
Why is Shaq in the EDM mosh pit, just going off? But Dan Hooker, just happy to see him. Happy to see him back in the win column. So that was pretty dope. So congrats to Dan Hooker. Good highlight reel KO. And if nothing else, I just appreciate you for breathing life into a card that desperately needed it.
Yeah, we should mention the preceding 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 fights all went to decision.
Yeah.
Prior to this.
Yeah, the rest of these fights.
And they weren't all Mario Batista Jinsu's son.
Mm-mm. Like Mario and Dusun, props to Arvlasky. We'll get to him in a fight. And I got to give props to Bruce Leroy because that's the homie. We'll make it, man. We're gonna get through this card.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, like we're at the fights where there's just not a lot to talk about.
Yeah, like like the next 8 fights, we could just be like, people threw punches.
Stuff happened.
Yeah, stuff happened.
I mean, they gave out scores. Something had to have happened.
Right. So.
But let's talk about a fight in which nothing happens at all.
Yeah.
And we all agree that it was a robbery.
That's sad when nothing happened and the fight was still a That's terrible. Nothing happened and the fight was still a robbery.
If this was Japan, Alex Hernandez would have got like 3 yellow cards and he would have had to pay prize.
Boy, it is super rare that lightweight in like any promotion gives you a boring fight. But
like an actively boring fight.
Right. And this was like a 1 in a million where we got a dud. Like a flat out dud. Alexander Hernandez versus Francisco Trinaldo. A fight where there was like movement in terms of like feet were moving. And there was some feints and some body movements. That was it. I mean, like I remember Trinaldo landing a pretty solid left in the first round, and
it wasn't enough for 2 judges because they awarded Alex Hernandez all 3 rounds. But
which is crazy because in the first round he did nothing. I mean, really, the whole fight he didn't do much of anything, but he spent a good 98% of this fight circling out.
I mean, he got his steps in.
Yeah. His the Fitbit probably broke from he overloaded the Fitbit with all the steps he took. But did not stuff the stat sheet in terms of strikes. Just a lot of movement that just amounted to nothing. And like I said, neither one of them did much of anything, but Trinaldo at least was trying to push the fight.
Trinaldo was trying in his best old man way.
Right.
But Alex Hernandez is just too quick. And decided that he wanted nothing to do with fighting Ronaldo, so he just circled. It's amazing.
And it's like, I get it, like, you gotta respect Ronaldo, as old as he is. Dude is still, still talented. You gotta respect the skill set. But boy, Hernandez, to say he was gun-shy was an understatement. Like,
the Cerrone laws, it fucked with his brain, man. This is what happens. A prospect gets hot, being super aggressive and like super fast and just mowing dudes over. They meet their first real roadblock and they're like, oh shit, I don't actually know how to fight, so I'm gonna do the complete opposite of whatever the hell I was doing. I was a hyper aggressive one punch knockout guy. Now I'm a circle for 15 minutes and make sure I don't get knocked out.
It looked like he was doing the karate point fighting without like fighting.
He forgot to score points.
Right. Like, you left all the points. Like, you just, yeah.
It's like Pernell Whitaker, like, ducking, like, 6 punches, but forgetting to actually counter back.
Right. Like, it was...
Except less impressive because he didn't actually slip any punches.
Yeah, like you said, guys, a lot of these fights from here on out, it's not going to be a lot to dive into. This fight was a ton of movement and not a lot of substance. And somehow...
For what it's worth, man, like, this is I'm imagining Hernandez's team is going to look at this fight and be like, okay, or like, this is a learning experience or something. Like,
if they're honest with him, you need to pull him to the side like, bro, they gifted you this. Like...
As Mike Perry said, this decision seemed racist.
Jesus. Somebody take that man's computer away. Phone, whatever. The fact that Hernandez got 230-27s,
that's a crime.
Yeah, I get it, like nothing happened in this fight. But you can't tell me the man who backpedaled for 99.9% of the fight won 30-27.
There's like that time those, like, all three judges gave freaking, what's his name? Rafael Carvalho the round against Melvin Mayhoff when only one strike landed, and it was the strike that Melvin Mayhoff threw. And yet Carvalho still won the round.
Yeah, fight was terrible. And if for first time listeners, we're very lenient on fights. We don't tend to be this hard. So if we tell you a fight was terrible, it was terrible. It was not good. So somehow, some way, hometown bias, Alexander Hernandez defeats Francisco Trinaldo. Not even via split decision. He got a unanimous, which is crazy. I don't know. I have nothing else to say.
Andrei Arlovski looked good.
Yes. Next fight. How was it that heavyweights had all of like the moments on this card? Like, the heavyweights had all of the knockouts, and the one fight where there wasn't a knockout, there was at least something to talk about. Andrei Arlovski versus Ben Rothwell.
Real quick, Ben Rothwell looked shot. Like, he's never been fast, but like, his thing has always been he works quick, or he works at a good clip. Dude just walked into like a million Arlovski punches, and it's crazy to me.
Boy, Arlovski came to work this fight. Like, my man clocked in. He was in 5 minutes early. He was ready to hand out all the work. Man, he boxed Ben Rothwell's face off for 3 rounds.
Like, and not just box, but like combination box. Like
Yeah.
was putting 3, 4, 5,
Five,
6 strikes
6 punches.
together.
And props to Rothwell, he's eating them, but that's the problem. Like he's just eating them, and Rothwell tries to come in with like his little awkward. He's a very like awkward moving, just awkward all around. He is just awkward, but like he can be effectively awkward. He might have got a few good licks off, like very few, but for most of this fight, boy, Arlovski looked good. Just good footwork. Just like you said, 4, 5, 6 punch combinations. Dude just out there just working. Like he was just letting his hands go. And if it wasn't for Rothwell being so tough,
He probably would have been knocked out like 3 or 4 times over.
Yeah, like anybody else probably would have died. So I gotta give props to Rothwell that he was able to survive it, because this was a slacking. Like I was really happy. This is the best. This is one of the best Arlovski performances I've seen in like the last like 5 forever. This is one of the best performances I've ever seen from him. He looked
Like
really.
the Travis Brown fight, I think.
Yeah.
Like that's like, how old is Arlovski now? And he's like, okay, I'm going to just decide to be this like volume puncher, and it's gonna work because I just automatically have power in my hands. I don't need to commit on anything to like bloody somebody up. It is great. Like and maybe a little bit of that has to do with the fact that he was fighting like Ben Rothwell, and not a younger, quicker, more athletic fighter. But like I think they said this was like his record for most strikes thrown in a round.
He landed like
fight.
It's like 100 something.
Yeah, that's crazy. Freaking like this is the same guy who had a staring contest with Frank Mir, where they literally just looked at each other for 5 minutes. And they said he got a new boxing coach who he met like while on vacation. Which isn't that just heavyweight MMA?
Right. Well, boy, that was the greatest. I ain't gonna say mistake, but whoever that boxing coach was, that was a.
Maybe he was legit. Maybe he met Freddie Roach.
Right.
Well, actually, he knew Freddie Roach. I just remembered that.
Whatever it was, that was a heaven sent, because whatever that boxing coach taught him, boy, them hands they were working. Yeah, I don't have much else to say. Like, it was a pretty one-sided fight in which Arlovski just looked really good. Just hands upon hands upon hands upon hands.
Yeah. Rothwell got a little bit of offense off in like the 3rd round. Caught Arlovski along the fence with a nice uppercut. But like Arlovski did really. That's the other thing. Arlovski did a really good job, even when he was tired, of just like not giving Ben Rothwell the opportunities where Ben Rothwell will knock you out. Like when he was tired late, he didn't do the thing that everybody else does, where Ben Rothwell's walking me down, I'm gonna just circle out and try to escape. He's like, no, I'm gonna plant my feet and throw and then tie up with him, because he can't hurt me on the inside like that if I'm throwing, because I'm quicker than him. So like it was stuff like that. It was just like, oh, okay. I'm not sure if they trained for that or if it was just like fatigue at that point. But it was a good move.
Yeah. Hey, man. 40-year-olds out here just putting in work. Just putting in work. So, yeah, man. Congrats to Arlovski. He looked really good, man. That fight put a smile on my face. Once again, on a card that just I needed something to get excited about. That put a smile on my face. Arlovski is one of my all-time favorite heavyweights. So that made my heart smile. That made me happy. So congrats to Arlovski. Really, really good performance. Whoever that boxing coach is, I appreciate you. Whatever you're doing is working. Keep it up. keep it up. So that ends the main card portion of this card. So it's time to move on to the prelims, which probably kind of breeze through because it ain't a lot of substance. We'll talk about what needs to be talked about, but it ain't a lot to talk about. But
yeah. And I'm drawing a blank, man. Like I remember these fights, but like I'm grasping at straws at what to talk about.
I think I can sum up. I can sum.
I mean, the Caceres fight and the Pennington fight are the two fights that if I have like if I'm gonna talk, I'm gonna talk, and I got some shit to say about right here, Donna. But Caceres look good.
Peterson is contender series, right?
Yes. I don't. Wait, I shouldn't be saying yes. I don't know.
I feel like
Yes, he is. He is.
Yeah.
He is one of the guys who lost, went to LFA, and then the UFC is like, no, we need somebody to fight Brandon Davis. I'll short notice. Please come.
Yeah. Well, I you know, I'm a big Bruce Leroy fan, so you guys know who I was rooting for. So I was, pretty happy with the outcome of this fight. But with Bruce Leroy fights, I can never be too sure though. Sometimes I never really know what's gonna happen. And those are gonna be entertaining because Bruce Leroy he always puts on entertaining fights, but sometimes he ends up on the wrong side of the stick. But nah, man, lots of just good movement from Bruce Leroy. Just able to stick and move, not getting caught up in Peterson's brawls, able to just be really creative as he always is. Dude's just he kind of fights like a free spirit. He's just kind of out there. But it works for him. And I love the fact that boy Peterson was so intent on trying to just walk him down, he was not having it. Like dude was just being crazy elusive and just being able to just get out of bad spots. And Peterson just kind of didn't have an answer for it. And the one advantage that Peterson had when he was able to take him down, which boy, my heart skipped a beat when he got that first takedown and took Caceres' back. I was like, oh God, please don't let this be how this ends. But Caceres was able to, able to fend off, get himself out of a bad spot. And I just thought after Peterson, because I feel like he got like 2 or 3 takedowns, ones that he didn't really have to work too hard for. And he wasn't able to get more of them off because it just seemed like Caceres, like, I'm not even really going to let you touch me.
Get the range.
Yeah, you're not, I'm not going to, the second you think you're even going to get comfortable enough to shoot or tie up, bro, I'm just going to move. Like, I'm getting out of here. And he just did that repeatedly. I think Caceres was aware of the advantages he had, which was clearly on the feet. And like I said, outside of those few moments where he got taken down, he was like, nah, bro, we're going to fight this fight the way I want to fight it. We're not, all that grappling ground. Yeah, we're not doing none of that. We're not doing any of that. Great performance of just being able to just stick and move. And he was just so much more creative on the feet than Peterson. And it just, he had so much more in the arsenal. And he combined that with just the movement that he had. Peterson couldn't get anything off.
Oh yeah, no, like did a fantastic job of just anytime Peterson did manage to get inside, like Caceres did a good job of just pivoting off, putting something on him, and then just reestablishing distance. Just all around solid performance. Dude, he's really polished. It's like his 15th UFC fight or something like that. It's not crazy like that.
He's in like the 20s.
Oh right, yeah, like dude has a long. He's got a big like background of experience to just pull things out of like this. So, props to him. I looked up how many times he had been rear naked choke in his career. It was like 5.
Yeah, that's like his kryptonite.
I was like, damn, is he about to get choked out again?
Yeah, that's what when Peterson got that first, when he sunk it in, I was like, oh no, because he was looking so good up until that point. I was like, please don't let this Don't do this to me.
You know what that is? That's growth.
Yeah. He's fighting the hands. I saw that. He's fighting the hands. I think he's learning. He's figured out why those other 5 times didn't go so well.
Beautiful.
Next up. Wait, you got anything else to add?
No, but just congrats to Bruce Leroy. Like he's a favorite of mine. I always love watching him fight. Anytime he wins, he gets to fight another day. I'm happy, man. So I love watching that dude fight. So,
Right.
Congrats to Bruce Leroy.
So next, Raquel Pennington and Irene Aldana. So, for what it's worth, the Raquel Pennington from like 3 years ago probably would have gotten Aldana out of there in like the second round and probably would have broke her will to fight in the process. But instead, she won a fight that Aldana probably should have won and ended up eating a ton of damage she probably didn't need to do in the process. So for Aldana, she started off pretty good. I thought she won the first 2 rounds. But that third round and getting taken down by Pennington and then having the heel hook or the calf slicer and then not using it to get to Pennington's back, which is the reason she lost the fight. Baffling. Like, Aldana is somebody I think would benefit from a stint at ATT. Like, they get so much out of their range kickboxers, and like Aldana, I think fits in with that mold so perfectly. But I'm happy for Rocky though, because like this is her first win since like 2016, 2017, something like that. So she really needed a win, and she was able to gut one out. And we saw a little bit of that old style where she would just come forward and fight for the takedown. So I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, it just Aldana had like a lot of. I feel like she threw a lot, but the more I watched, I was like, I don't know. This fight seems a little closer than like it should be. I'm nervous. Like, I feel like this isn't like she looked good in moments, but I don't know. I was a little uneasy watching this. And like you said, there were moments where she would land, but it felt like when Pennington threw, she landed like harder shots. I don't know. Yeah, this fight was just. I respect Aldana's just kind of will to I'm just gonna throw a lot of combinations and feign and move in and I'm just gonna keep throwing.
She fights like somebody who doesn't have a lot of sparring partners her size. Like she backs up in straight lines and expects to be like out of range. Like when she circles out, like she does it without like any type of guard. She stares at her work a little bit when she lands a good combination. That means she's there to be countered. Like it's all the small things that stop you from getting hit in return.
Yeah, and she caught a couple of return hits. I don't remember how I scored the fight. I think I did score it for Aldana, but I wasn't super mad at the decision because like I said that the third round Raquel definitely won. And that second round was kind of just. It's like you might have won that one, but I don't know. It was, I don't know. I like Aldana. I think there's still some promise there, but it just seems like she's kind of missing something. There's this, I don't know. There's something else I feel like she needs to kind of
elevate her game.
Yeah, to kick it up to the next level because she's definitely got a lot of talent, and it's really fun to watch when she does actually like put combinations together. But it just seems like something's missing. Like she just needs like one more tool to kind of kick her up to that next level. But congrats to Pennington on the win. This next fight, I'm gonna just read the decision. I ain't getting into this fight. I don't care. Of course, this is the light heavyweight fight that brings out these emotions. Klidson Abreu versus Sam Alvey.
I'd like to point out Klidson Abreu has a win over Johnny Walker.
205 GOAT. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
And now he's got to win over the other 205 GOAT, Sam Alvey.
Yeah, he won unanimous decision. It was a 205 fight, guys.
It was a Sam Alvey fight, guys.
Yeah. That's all you get. Moving on. I have nothing else to say about that fight. Moving on. This fight was at catchweight because Jennifer Maia missed, I don't know how many pounds she was off, but
Apparently like 3.
yeah, she gave up
This is
30% of that.
127.
She gave up 30% of that purse.
Yeah.
Yep.
Big money.
That's never good. But Jennifer Maia versus Roxanne Modafferi. I don't remember this fight in a ton of detail other than Roxanne Modafferi, of course, using that, really, really herky-jerky motion to kind of get in, try to work the grappling, work the clinch. Didn't work so well. Like she was able to clinch a few times, but just wasn't really able to inflict a lot of damage. And ate more than she was able to dish out. That's all I got for this fight. I honestly don't remember this in a ton of detail, to be honest.
No, that's basically it. Like, Modafferi did her best to take down Maia, but Maia, on top of being a solid enough wrestler, is also just a big 125er. Not maybe like stature wise, but like muscle wise and like structure wise, she is strong.
Yeah.
Like
I think even if you would have took the weight away, like even if she had made weight, just the frame alone, like she seemed like she was just sturdier.
Yeah, so like getting Modafferi to take Maia down was like a tall task and didn't work out for her. It was just the athletic gap was just too much. So Maia gets her, I want to say it's her first or second win in the UFC. Second, because she beat Alexis Davis. So she is now officially a contender, and she'll probably fight. She probably gets the Valentina Shevchenko fight right after this Carbush. Like immediately afterwards.
There you go. So, congrats to Jennifer Maia. Try to make weight next time, though. 30% of the purse. No bueno. No bueno. Moving on to bantamweight. Bantamweight had the last 3 fights of this card. Ray Borg versus Gabriel Silva. Okay fight. I will say I was really happy that Ray Borg won, just considering, like, boy, that man has been through a lot in these last few years. And with Ray Borg fights, if nothing else, you're going to get, like, a fun scramble moment or a fun grappling moment. And this fight was just kind of a lot of grappling exchanges. I don't feel like there was a lot done in terms of like damage dealt out, but a lot of grappling, a few fun moments battling for position. But I feel like when you grapple with Ray Borg, unless you're like on that elite level, like a Mighty Mouse, dude is just kind of super relentless and just his scrambling ability is just kind of wild. So more often than not, he can just kind of find a way to make the best out of those situations, and he got to win.
Yeah, I don't like since it looks like they might be keeping the flyweight division around. I wonder if Borg goes back down because I don't think his style will work against the best there is at 135. Like he is still not a good striker. He still has to shoot from way far out to get takedowns. And like strength wise, it's just not the same as wrestling a dude like Gabriel Silva is not the same as wrestling a dude like what's his name, the dude who he back took and submitted. Hold up with me. Yeah, like a Gian Herrera or a Shane Howell. Like it's not the same. Yeah, so like I'm happy for him too. The last couple of years of his life have been hell. And I can't imagine going through all that and still coming out here and fighting. I'm
Yeah, like I don't know, like it's another one of the things. It's like Elian Edwards, like yeah, you got a good solid win, but well, it doesn't make me think that you're going to be a title contender at this division.
Oh, even worse for him because his division is still in limbo. Like,
Right.
well, if he goes back down, so we kind of don't know what it means. But I mean, if for nothing else, solid performance of just grappling, kind of Ray
Oh
Borg
yeah,
just doing Ray Borg things.
yeah. But,
You know,
I'm actually kind of curious. Like, I don't think 135ers have the same like spring as 125ers do, where like they're just impossible to hold down. So I'm kind of curious how Ray Borg does on that front because a lot of his game was just like 50-50 positions where like he expected to be the more explosive, stronger dude. So like if he gets on the mat with like an Aljamain Sterling, how does that look?
mm.
So that kind of has me interested. But other than that, I'm just happy that Ray Borg got a win. Made a little extra money for his family.
Yeah. So congrats to Ray Borg. Moving on to actually what got fight of the night and well deserved. Also at bantamweight, Mario Batista versus Jinsu Sun. Dude just went in there and just went at it. Like,
Yeah, shouts to Batista. Like he looked good. Like Jinsu Sun did not have a very versatile offense. Basically, just a puncher who occasionally like kicked. Mario Batista went in there and was just like, nope, we're gonna have a phone booth fight, but I'm gonna use my feet to create angles to counter you with, and to make you miss, and just in general, just ruin your fucking day. Like good head movement, good shot selection. Just like all around, like really smart stuff. It's not like Jinsu Sun didn't land as well. It's just it wasn't the same.
yeah, it was one of those fights where like it was competitive, but
We
Batista
knew,
was
yeah, we knew
yeah,
who was winning.
yeah, we knew who was winning. But like it was still fun to watch, especially like those. It really picked up in the second and third. Like, dude, they were really going after it. I think Batista had dropped him once, or at least like got him down to like a knee. Um, yeah, dude just went at it, man. Punches, hooks, elbows, clinching. They did pretty much everything for the duration of all 3 rounds. And dudes just it was the one fight on the card. Like you wish everybody else kind of had this attitude where they were really going for it. Um, it kind of sucks because the placement of this fight is so low, so I don't remember this fight in a ton of specific detail. But dudes were actually they were going at it. Like dudes were really just going for it. So props to both Batista and Jinsu Sun just for putting on a great fight, and props to them for getting fight of the night. Definitely well deserved in a card that just didn't have
A whole bunch going on.
yeah, they stood out amongst the crowd, and that's a good thing. It's crazy when the second fight on the prelim is better than
Everything that comes after it.
right.
Yeah.
So congrats to both, but definitely congrats to Batista. Like I said, he looked really good out there, and got a fight of the night performance for it. So congrats to him. And the last fight, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really remember the fight at all, even though I watched it. Felipe Corrales versus Domingo Pilarte. All I remember is that I think Domingo was the favorite, and that didn't work.
All I remember is I thought he won because I think I was split in time between this and the Rivas White fight. So I don't remember in full detail, but I remember thinking Pilarte won.
As we said with most of these fights, punches were thrown, people got taken down. Somebody probably went for a submission.
Oh.
That was one guy won, one guy lost. Well, what do you want from me? But yeah, that was UFC San Antonio. Like we said, man. Like a lot of times we'll come back and tell you guys like, hey man, go back and watch this, go back and watch that. This is literally one of those cards. Go on like the I don't know what YouTube page is gonna post the highlights of this card. You can literally just go back and watch the highlights, and you'll be fine.
They'll be 5 seconds long.
Right. Like literally, you don't gotta go back and really watch any of these.
Just go hug your family, bro.
Right.
Like you don't gotta subject yourself to this like we did.
Yeah. Tell your family you love them. If it's
Yeah.
not too hot where you live, like go take a walk.
And if you're like us and you watch the entire card, tell them that you have a problem and that you need professional help.
Right. They probably been trying to get you to get help this whole time, but this is when you actually have to give in and be like, all right, guys, like I understand I have a problem now.
And when you get in, you speak with the therapist or the psychologist, you recommend that Dojotalkpodcast.
There you go. Life comes full circle.
Yeah.
But yeah, literally, to be honest, guys, just watch a highlight of what happened. You don't need to go back and watch this card. You did not miss you didn't miss anything that you can't see in a highlight. That's pretty much it. So yeah. That was UFC San Antonio. Next week we will have. I'm trying to bring this up on my phone.
UFC 240, I think.
Yep, UFC 240, which will be headlined by Max Holloway and Frankie Edgar. Also on the card, co-main, you got Cyborg versus Felicia Spencer. Jeff Neal versus Nico Price. All that violence. Olivier Aubin-Mercier versus Osman Sarakian. Probably said that all wrong. Keem Dawodu versus Yoshinori Horii. Gavin Tucker's back.
Hey, my namesake.
There you go. For Sungwoo Choi. Davidson Figueiredo versus Alexandre Pantoja. So we got some decent fights on this card. Not the most stacked, but it's a couple of okay scraps on here. So we'll be back covering that next week. Is Bellator? I don't think Bellator has a card.
Bellator doesn't have a card till like the August 20th something.
Oh yeah, 24th. Mitrione and Karatanov.
Karatov 2. Let's go.
Yeah.
Now Karatanov has to kick Mitrione in the nuts as hard.
Yeah, right. and we get the trilogy, and then that one ends with an eye rake.
Yeah. Then we start all over again.
Right. So, yeah, it'll be quiet for PFL. For Bellator.
I know Ryzen has a card next week. Ryzen 17. I don't remember who's on it. But I want to say it's. Yeah, no, I can't even think of like who would be on it because I remember the Ryzen 18 card, but not the 17. Hold up. Yachi versus Asakura.
There you go.
That's a main event. Oko Sasaki versus Shintaro Ishiwatari. Yuki Montoya versus Himarosa Ogikubo. Ivan Cherkov versus Hoon Kim. Satoru Kitaoka versus Johnny Case. Tetsuya Kawajiri versus Ali Abdul Kalikov. And reverse. Soyam versus Tomo Maisea. And King Randa versus Steffi Egger.
There we go. So that's Kevin Ross got injured. He's not on the card anymore.
That's sad.
Yeah, he was supposed to fight Watabe. He got a replacement though, so that's good. But yeah, so that's Rising 17. That's on the 28th. So hopefully I'll get a chance to watch some of that. We can talk about that also when that happens. But
last bit because just because I feel bad not mentioning him. We got your boy fighting next week. Your man's Gervonta Davis.
Oh, that is next week. Yeah, I'm not going live to that.
Don't blame you.
Yeah. For one, it's too hot. For two, hot weather and Baltimore don't really go well together.
Yeah.
So I will not be at live attendance, even though this fight will probably only be about 30 minutes from where I live. But yeah, I'll definitely be keeping an eye on that because that's gonna be the talk of the town. So yeah, we'll definitely be covering that next week. And I saw something on Twitter. I don't know if this is official, but there's a rumor floating around the windmill that Fedor versus Rampage might be a thing.
Yay.
Hey.
Hey, if they're gonna keep fighting, they might as well fight each other.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, that is definitely true.
Yeah, I'd rather that than Fedor fight like Curtis Blades.
Right. Yeah, we don't. Yeah. No.
And yes, there's only like 3 interesting young heavyweights. That's why I keep mentioning Curtis Blades.
Yeah. So that might potentially be a thing. I don't know if it's official, but if it becomes official, you heard it here first. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today's episode. So I guess we can go ahead and sign off with parting shots and shout outs. I'm going to give my shout out to Kendrick Norton of the Miami Dolphins. If you're not an NFL fan, or even if you are, you may not have heard of him, but Norton was a 22-year-old who unfortunately had to get his arm amputated after he got in a car accident. He crashed into a concrete barrier in Florida. Had to get his arm amputated.
Why is it always Florida?
Right. Everything just wild happens in Florida. But dude had to get his arm amputated. He had to have like 6 surgeries or something crazy like that. But luckily, made it out of the accident alive. Unfortunately, obviously not going to be able to play football anymore, which sucks because like he just got drafted into the NFL like last year. He was kind of floating around on some practice squads, but just really sucks, man. Dude's only like 20-something years old, got his career cut really short. But the one kind of silver lining in the story is that the Dolphins didn't have to pay him his money, but obviously, considering the situation, would be a good gesture, and they decided to pay him his salary. They don't have it listed on this particular article, but I want to say it was an upwards of like $400,000 or something around that ballpark. So shouts to Norton and the Miami Dolphins for doing the right thing, paying him his money. Like, just one of those situations you can't really predict anything like that. And as far as we know, like during the car accident, like there wasn't foul play. I don't think anybody was drunk. It was, it was just an accident. Like these things, unfortunately, they happen sometimes. So just good to see in what was a terrible situation. Like there was some kind of silver lining. So shout outs to Kendrick Norton. Hopefully, life after football can treat him well. And shout out to Miami Dolphins for paying him his salary. They're doing the right thing. And that's pretty much all I have.
So it's been on the entertainment front. It's been like a crazy week. If you've been following the stuff from like Comic-Con and the what was it, the Disney Expo, I think it was, because I don't think they were at Comic-Con. I don't remember. Point being, there was like a million fucking things announced. Like Marvel announced like all these TV/Disney Plus streaming shows that are based on their movies with the same cast actors from the movies. Some new ones. Freaking got announced. The Steven Universe movie got announced along with like music from like Chance the Rapper. I'm trying to think of like all the crazy shit that got announced at Comic-Con.
Mahershala Ali is playing Blade.
Yes. Dude took that Green Book Oscar and was like, yo, I got 2 Oscars. You better let me fucking play Kevin Feige before I fucking like cut your head off. And Feige was like, okay. So props for not so much a shout out, but like yeah, if entertainment is your only like leisure activity or one of the few things that bring you joy in this life anymore, it was a good week for you. That sounded way more depressing than I meant it to be. I'm very tired. It's like 12 o'clock, 12:30. If y'all wondering when we're recording this. Shouts to that. Shouts to the runners for my favorite TV show, the cartoon DuckTales, because they announced like season 3 and like all the stuff that's gonna be in season 3, and they're bringing in Goofy and Daisy Duck and Goof Troop and like Chip and Dale Rescue, like all the old like Disney TV shows. They're just bringing back and just putting in the show, and I think that's amazing, especially as someone who like vaguely remembers that era of television. So I'm excited for that. I got a dour note to end on because, like I said, it's been like a crazy fucking couple weeks. Like if y'all out there and y'all partying and y'all doing y'all thing, be careful what you put in your body, because that shit can go sideways real quick. Real quick. So, that's all I got.
Especially, man, it's the summertime too. So, people are a little more active, being out there. So yeah, you gotta watch yourself out here. You definitely need to watch yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is pretty much all we got for today's episode. Like I said, it's past midnight, 12:22 a.m. So we can go on and get out of here. But as always, man, give this podcast a listen. SoundCloud, iTunes, or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play. Send questions to dojotalkpodcast@yahoo.com. Follow us on social media at the Dojo Talk Podcast Facebook page, as well as the Instagram page. And you can follow me on Twitter as well as Twitch at Serial Sensei. And that is all we got for you guys today. So thank you for listening. And as always, anytime people are being punched and or kicked in the face, we will be there to talk about it. And until next time, we will catch you guys later.